Hello and welcome to this a very special episode of the Chronicles of Telmora campaign, brought to you by Walgreens, our one and only sponsor, because they keep taking Connor away from me.
At the corner of happy and healthy.
So, Walgreens is taking Connor away from us for a little bit.
Second name drop.
I mean, like, it's valid. You have to listen. Bills must be paid. Jobs must be worked.
And eventually,
And your job is at Walgreens. And they do genuinely need you right now. Like, they're not, from what you've told me, they're not just dicking you over. So I respect it. I understand it.
and
We're
eventually,
eventually,
I've been told I will be back on my regular schedule where I'm able to make the game. Is the
exactly.
important part.
But for now, since you can't, it makes, as much as I have enjoyed playing Bellum, to hear exploits for you later, where then you go, yes, that's exactly what Bellum would have done, which feeds my ego immensely. It does make more sense, and eventually will help advance the plot to send Bellum back home for just a little bit. So everybody can be happy. I don't have to continue running a character, much as I love doing it. I don't have to worry about, oh god, I might end up killing Connor's character when I literally say things in the battle of, oh, he's got a 22 AC. They have a +4 to hit, and then they hit. And I feel very bad because I'm going, oh no. That wasn't supposed to happen. I didn't think it was gonna happen. But
Bellum was having the same thought when he ended up getting hit. He's like, I have a 22 AC. How are they hitting?
how are they hitting me? Fucking bards. Completely unaugmented. Just good dice rolls. They had to have rolled like an 18 or a 19. So, in order to prevent that from happening when the player is not even here, I have set up a special little thing so we can actually role play how Bellum and why Bellum is going back to the Grove. So Bellum,
Telmora?
you have you've been with your party. You helped them subdue and capture Adelard Talon, who you know is the crime boss that killed Ned's wife directly, or at least ordered her death. So more or less, he killed her. And you know that he has been having some plans for some sort of sketchy, almost certainly bogus trade deal with the city of Caerlora on Ascaria. And so you infiltrated a very fancy party held on his behalf by the regent to celebrate this new trade deal and finalize negotiations. You ambushed him, so you thought, more or less. You did get a surprise round for the first people out of the hole in the secret passage on the wall for the servants, and managed to get rid of his guards and subdue him. You brought him back to Fractal's tower, at which point you were told, maybe you should go take a walk.
And he would have done so.
And he did. He said, I don't want to see what's going to happen next because they're at least respecting my feelings that I don't really like it when they do this. So I'm going to go take a walk. Where would you go walk, Bellum?
We're from south of Caerlora, correct?
Yeah, outside in the forest.
Just literally anywhere in the forest, just going and foraging, looking for flowers, indigenous things that he might take with him, seeds, clippings, trimmings.
You have made tonight even easier than I was planning, which is wonderful. So thank
That's
you.
Bellum for you.
As you are wandering, you start to wander about southeast. Just something kind of draws you southeast from the tower. And you stumble upon a strange ruin.
Oh
Looks like
shit, I'm alone. Fuck.
it
He
looks like
clacks on his
just
helmet.
possibly an older, like what may have been one of the original settlements of Sheva Caerlora that just kind of fell into disrepair.
Bellum, realizing he's probably putting himself in a fucky wucky situation where he's entering. He's like, "Hang on, this could be a plot thing, like a dungeon, and I'm here alone. Let me, okay,
I will
armor
say
up,
it
dodge
doesn't look like
action.
a dungeon. It like the roof is gone. It's basically just kind of walls and you can see
Okay,
through. Like
he still gets like
yeah.
this is a point of interest vibe, so he's going to be using the dodge action as he walks through here, just like okay. I'm
And
sure
that's
there's no face
valid.
huggers here.
And that's valid. And I'm sure there are no face huggers here.
Helmet on just in case.
As you're walking through, you feel an energy surrounding you. And it's familiar.
Good familiar, bad familiar.
Good familiar. Recent familiar.
Did I find the ley line spot?
You did.
Fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Scrambling to get some sort of container. He's looking around for wherever the like access point is.
You're looking around and you see that it looks like there is some sort of altar built towards what would have been like the back, that maybe this was some sort of old church or something similar, or not that elves, especially several hundred years ago, not that elves were super big on like organized religion. But that it was some form of altar, tribunal, tributary space. And you see a little bit of light. Green and blue and pink and purple spilling from behind it.
Behind the altar?
Yeah.
And the altar is up against the wall.
No. It's close to the wall, but it's not quite. You could easily, with how the walls are crumbled, you could walk around and give yourself like a berth of 10 feet, so you could kind of look behind it and see what's going on without getting too close.
He would do so then. Still like shield up, like blocking his face, except his eyes, just
That's fair.
slowly trudging closer, like a I
You
don't want to
see,
get I don't want to get mollywopped alone out
that's
here.
fair. You don't see any creatures. I mean, there's like, you see like squirrels and mice, but you don't see any
At
like
least
beasts.
at least one time he almost fires off a magic missile at a squirrel and just falls
The
to
squirrel
life.
very much does that thing where it freezes and like runs one way and then stops and then runs the other way, and you're like, dude, get out of the fucking road. You know, we've all almost hit a squirrel and thought it was the end, you know, because you're like, how am I going to survive trying so hard not to hit this squirrel? I digress. So, you see these lights coming up, and this is different from the one at the ruins of Plata, where it was in that cave and there was the water. This just seems to be almost like some sort of, it's not that there's an actual fissure in the ground, but it almost looks like it's coming from one, just like wisps of colorful light.
He'll kneel down to it then.
Yeah. It's warm. Comforting.
Is there anything growing out of it, or any like?
I mean, it's the ground has kind of, the forest is kind of overgrown. There was not really like a traditional stone or wood floor in this place beforehand. It was very much meant to be like the walls were more there in case someone wanted to come when it was in the middle of a storm or something, when there was inclement weather, so that they could still come and pay tribute but be sheltered. But it was meant to be a very natural space. Kind of like a gazebo, more or less, but without the floor. And so there's grass and vegetation and flowers growing up through it. It seems to be a bit more vibrant around the ley line, but not like significantly so.
I'd like to have him take a trimming, like clip one of the flowers growing out of it.
Okay.
And stow it in the same bag as the ley water from the other one.
Fair enough. Easy enough.
if you want to get real specific about it, he taps some of the ley pollen or whatever you want to call it out of the
Cute.
flower
That's
into a
adorable. I
little
love that.
satchel and stows it with the ley water for his future
Layflower pollen.
needs.
You're gonna make the most exquisite perfume. You're gonna open up a
I've got the
perfume
water.
ring.
I've got the pop. Like you spritz the shit
flower.
on. It'll be the
perfume
funniest
oil.
plane shift item. Just spritz. Why am I in Elysium? Like
Why am I in Elysium? But it's actually just an illusion. You just feel like you're in Elysium. The perfume smells that good.
you actually go into a perfume commercial for it. It's weird.
Exactly. It's the episode of SpongeBob where SpongeBob and Patrick have to go through the perfume department to get out of Davy Jones's locker.
That's hell.
It's hell, but it's just everybody spraying perfume on you. That's the commercial. So, but you now know where the ley line is, and you can direct your party to it.
Does he know Fractal needs to use its energy instead of him?
Make me an intelligence check.
Because the last one, it had like a recharge set. Wow, twos
So-
and fucking. Oh.
You know that.
Hang on.
Oh. Two's in the chat.
Hang on. Where is it?
Where is it?
Oh, good. Just Flash
Your
of Genius.
Flash of Genius for a 12?
Yeah, you can make it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's much better than a 7.
It is much better than a 7. It crosses the threshold of a 10, which is good. You know that Fractal is the one looking for them. But you also know that you benefited from the last ley line simply by your proximity to it.
How far away is he from where I was? Or is there, like, some weird
a couple of
space
miles.
warping?
Couple of miles.
Oh,
I would say
that's
you would
definitely
guess a good couple of miles. Something about this, the energy is slightly different where it's still a ley line, but like the best way I can describe it is the flavor is different. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just something where you're like, I might need to let him know. Because you're not sure with this being so nature-based, you're not entirely sure what this would do for him. You're curious about what his goal specifically with the following ley lines is. Because as far as you were aware, his original goal with the ley lines more or less has been achieved.
And he just wants to gain power from them going forward.
Probably.
He kind of hates druidy nature stuff.
Yep, entirely possible.
He's literally, he has said at some point that he hates icky flesh stuff. That's why he uses ethereal or bone.
Yeah. This
Bellum's
isn't
going to
icky humanoid flesh, but this
Fair.
is icky plant flesh.
Bellum's going to write a note about his observations and stick it on the altar because he assumes eventually Fractal's going to track this place down.
Interesting.
And in case he gets sucked into another plane or something, he wants evidence like, hey, it's Bellum here.
Okay.
I was out wandering and I found this place. It had a very druidy aftertaste, so I went to investigate. If I'm not here, I got pulled somewhere.
Valid.
And then he's going to put on his gauntlet.
Okay.
They're already on, but just kind of charge him up a second, get ready, and then just start to reach into this crevice to feel around what's inside of it.
Okay. It's as you're reaching out that you hear a little, like, in your head, like, doo 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 doo. Hey, it's Aster. How've you been? Passing by home soon? Got a message for you. Celestian said to stop by. He has plans for you. You recognize this is a sending spell.
Yeah. How deep am I in this crevice when this hits? Because this is going to make a very funny moment for him where he's just like...
Your fingers are like just kind of crossing the threshold.
In my mind, which I know isn't true, as you just said, but I'm just imagining Bellum like elbow deep in this thing and like, hey, it's Aster, you have a minute to talk? And he's just like...
Literally elbow deep in a ley line right now, my guy. If you want to have gotten elbow deep, I'll allow it.
Sure, because it's funny. I
It
mean,
is
he
very
only gets
funny.
one chance to respond.
Yep, you got
He's like,
25 words.
currently at Sheva Caerlora ley line, investigating, can visit soon. Apart from my group momentarily, is it long business or short? I have more words. We'll need to send. Uh oh.
5 words.
No, I have one more after I
Oh, you
said
have
I
only
need to
one?
send. We need to send. That's Connor. That's why Connor went. Uh oh, I miscounted. Need to send note
Note. Okay.
and sending spells sent off.
Okay.
And he continues to rifle around in the ley line, going, "All right, so how does this one trigger?" He also is trying to like slightly. I'm trying not to be gross about it, but just try to pull it apart a little bit and like see like what's on the other side.
Okay. Are you trying to be careful not to activate it?
If it does, it's not the end of the world, but he
Okay.
wants to know as much as he can until then. I will happily make a check to avoid triggering it.
Just if you're trying to avoid triggering it, then it's enough.
Okay.
Especially because you remember how you've seen one of these before, you've been in the presence of one of them as it was activated before, so you have that understanding of it's the
Oh, I do know what I want to do.
what do you want to do?
I would like to take my cube of force into my hand and place it into the ley line area. It's still not activated, and wait.
Okay.
The little sliver of the barrier that he took from home that charged
Uh-huh.
and made the item.
Yeah.
Before he tried to, it has a little piece of Celestian's influence in it, essentially. Celestine's at least tertiarily nature god.
He is, yeah.
Bellum's going to decide he's going to try and sit here after he comes up with an idea. There's going to be written around the ruins like equations and math and such as he's going to try and signal boost with his cube of force. Try and hit it with some ley line juice. Have it sap some of it up and give him if it goes really well, a walkie-talkie to Celestian that he can use. If it goes really poorly, probably some sort of mishap. But there
Okay.
are equations written all over these ancient ruins where Bellum is calculating angles, glyphs, facets that need to be opened at which intervals.
All right. Make me a spellcasting check.
Oh, goody. Not Arcana?
If you're proficient in it, then that'll work.
Yes. May I also do Flash of Genius, just for
If
good
you
measure?
want, you can certainly
28.
do. Okay,
28 will
28.
make me happy.
28 will make you happier. I'm sure it will. You get a little
Damn, I could have guided. Oh, well.
too late now. You could have. You're too busy with the equations. The math is just you're that lady in the GIF with all of the equations popping up over her head, and you're kind of scribbling them down in like charcoal. I'll say so that it can. It's not permanent. You're not etching it into the stone.
Yeah.
And they all kind of glow, almost as if they were etched out of starlight for a second, before kind of coalescing and swirling around and going into your cube of force, which takes on a more like a constellation vibe, even more so than before.
Interesting. It's primed. Well, only one way to test it. He pauses for a second. I feel like I should have a supervisor here to make sure I'm not doing something dumb. Looks around and remembers what they're doing. I'm sure they're busy.
A squirrel comes up and gets freezes and looks at you.
You'll do. He
Squeaks.
reaches the cube into the ley crevice
Okay.
and is going to try and focus and activate it with the cube prime to
Okay.
absorb
What
and
level of
reinterpret.
activation are you going for?
How many? Like, what you mean?
The cube with the what the different levels of activation for the
Oh.
cube. Is that how you're trying to activate it, or a different way?
I was just saying Bellum was going to try and reach out and activate the ley line the way Fractal
Oh,
did,
okay.
but
The ley line. Okay.
I kind of like what you're going for here.
I don't know. It's up to you, man.
A theoretical higher charge use barrier that just So normally the cube will make like an impermeable wall that of certain degrees to funnel things. Making one that's specifically in a shape to funnel ley line energy into it seems interesting. And I feel like that's the method in which he does to try and get the energy in rather than just letting it passively seep in. He sets it as a special function with the math to do a funnel so that when it erupts out, it just goes through the cube of force and any excess thing comes out at Bellum.
Okay.
So he sets that, and then Bellum style will activate the ley line to evoke its built up energy.
I believe I had Fractal make an Arcana check because that is his spellcasting modifier. But since this flavor is different, what wisdom skills are you proficient in?
No, none of them. I only have intelligence.
Oh no. Almost like I've been dropping hints that this one is nature based. Are you proficient in nature?
I do have nature. I am proficient in
nature. I'll allow it. That's the only intelligence-based skill that would have any modicum of success here.
Double tapping piece up to the sky. Can I have guidance myself before this one?
Yes. Before this, realizing that this is nature-based and not your vibe. Yes.
All right, let me try my best here. Click, click, click. All right, here comes a nature check.
Okay. All right.
I might as well use it another flash. I'm burning through them like...
I'm about to be gone for a couple weeks. Why not? Okay, so that's a 29. So with a 29 total, you feel a similar feeling to what you experienced in the Ruins of Plata, but stronger, because this time it is focused on you and the Cube of Force. It feels... It feels like for a few moments you are the forest. You are part of the trees and the beasts and the birds and the insects, that you have a connection to them.
I just imagine his eyes glowing like a deep verdant green while this is happening.
Oh, very much so.
And the like very back of his mind thought is just, oh, I was so right. Fractal would have hated this.
It would have been like disgusting, flesh creatures, vile, impure, imperfect.
Literally. He's thinking, I'm kind of the perfect one in the group to get a touch of this ley line. We'll share. Somebody else can get the next one.
Well, and as you feel that, with your grove being not too terribly far from this, you feel that connection like a string from your chest to the grove that just is connected. That it is a physical bond that binds you to your people and your people to you and your home. And you can almost reach out and pluck it like the string of an instrument. And you do, and it vibrates and hums and sings. And you can see the turn of the stars in the cosmos. You can see the constellations that you've imbued into your infusions, that you've studied your whole life.
Once again, like the previous ones, seeing the constellations in the water here, I feel like as he's in the forest, it's that time lapse where they show like a still forest and the day-night cycle spinning very quickly.
Yep.
And he's just seeing all the stars glow brighter day or night, and just connections forming. Seeing like the effects of celestial bodies on regular creatures, essentially what astrology pretends. And he just sees like the framework and the influence the stars have on nature. And whether or not he retains this kind of all sight and understanding is unlikely. But for a moment, I think he feels this deeper connection to the Earth stars
Oh,
than
yeah.
he's ever felt before.
And for a second, you see similar threads. You see the tether, however you picture it, that binds you
Mm-hmm.
to your grove.
Mm-hmm.
And you see something similar. Not as thick, not as strong. Something easier to fray or something more delicate. You see a few of them in the other direction, reaching towards Fractal's tower. And you know that this is your connection to your friends, your second family. You know that these bonds are more delicate. They are, especially for you right now,
Yeah, I was gonna say
with
recently they're
after what
different.
happened in the ruins. You worry that they could be broken. You feel like your bond to the earth stars, when you see it, it's so strong. You don't see a way that it could fray or break on its own, but the bonds with your friends are so fragile. What's to stop them from just eroding away? What would you say is your biggest fear that came out of the incident at the ruins?
He knows that he'll always be able to go back to the Grove, but he worries for the rest of the world if his friends are left. Not unchecked isn't quite the right word, but if they don't have that voice of compassion that many of them lack, he worries not for the world and their sakes how things will be. He worries who will keep them on the straight and narrow, or mostly straight and kind of narrow in recent history. And he's
Feeling that
scared.
fear,
Mhm.
for a second, you get a glimpse of what they're doing in the tower
Oh,
with Adelard, in binding him. And you get a sense that they love you enough to send you away so that you don't have to be party to it. You don't have to witness it. The guilt doesn't have to be on you. But in this moment, without real guilt or anything, you feel the sense that they are going to make the choices that they are going to make. And it is no responsibility of yours. It is no fault of yours. And even if you are there, through their love for you, they will abstain you of guilt by sending you away. But they will still make these choices.
it kind of cuts Bellum a little bit that he his belief that he was this sort of steward of morality was wrong. Nothing's really changed by his presence, except that they hear it and then continue to do what they're going to do anyway. And he stops to consider what what they're doing is making evil pay. And he's not entirely upset about what they're doing currently. The methods are gruesome, but he doesn't entirely object, but he has undoubtedly come out changed in how he views his role in the group. He now more understands that he's not the moral compass. He's an equal and has no teaching role to them. They are as they're always going to be. And they won't get any worse or any better by his presence. And it's a little bit of relief to have that pressure off his shoulders. But at the same time, still a little crushing to feel like he has no power to turn them to the light. After his many talks with Fractal, saying that he wants to ensure he has the choice to be good or evil. That choice will be ultimately up to him, not any pre-programming or external influence.
And with that revelation, the vision of what's going on at the tower dims, and your attention is turned back to your grove. All is well there, but you sense that Celestian is calling you home.
And looks down like at the Leyline Grove at the note he wrote, and just kind of nods that he's left a message that he's been there, and tries to like walk towards the grove.
Okay. Roll me
What's
a
that?
D100.
Oh goody. Oh goody. 1.
Okay.
Was it low or high? I either just fumbled the bag or I got it on the head.
It was low.
Good.
You start to walk, and it's like you see the paths that the ley lines take over and under and through the world as a whole. Not just Ascaria, but all of Telmora.
Oh, I'm walking on the Leyline Highway. Ooh.
And you blink, and suddenly you're there. Where in the grove do you appear?
I would like to say at the peak where his hideout in the mountain. The same ledge where he spoke to Celestine before, just a very long arc straight from where he was up, and if anybody could see it, probably would look a bit like a shooting star. Just as he gets there. Is he like smoking, burning, glowing?
Glowing.
Okay. I think this is what they call irradiation. Maybe I should give this a little bit to either wear off or settle in before I touch people. Hey, Celestian, am I gonna blow up?
No.
Are people gonna blow up for being near me? Hold on, hang on. Wait a minute. As he realizes there was no meta-knowledge, no religion check, nothing. He's just...
That just, you didn't have to, this is the way that you normally just kind of talk and you don't get a response. But
Exactly.
that there was immediately, in your head, a response.
Looney Tunes screeching, and just breaks. Hold on, wait a minute. Celestian?
Yes.
Is this... What? Did it work? And he goes to grab his cube of force.
It's only this strong when you are here, but it is easier outside now.
Noted. Did the cube of force survive what I put it through?
It did.
Cool. Does it have any side effects or features now? Or is it just regular cube of force with lower DC to talk to
says, that was actually the and your vision kind of changes for a second, and you see blueprints, but drawn on stars. And you
Ooh.
gather that's what he meant by plans. Like literal
Literal
like
plant.
like plans for a device or
He
a
has
written.
plans for you. He has a schematic to give
He
you.
has schematics. He has plans, not like I have an overarching theme of a plan. Like, oh, I got blueprints for you, bud. Come here. You got to pick them up in my shop. I
So,
was
did
intending to give it to you this way, but that works as well.
always been an overachiever. Hang on, did I jump across a ley line a minute ago?
You did.
Does that have weird effects? I'm a little concerned.
No one I've protected has ever done so before, so I don't know. We're going to find out.
We sure are. Can I fly now? And he in Bellum fashion, just boldly jumps off
Do
the
not jump off the
cliff.
cliff.
He's already in the air. Celestine says, "Don't look." Uh-oh.
It just we've already been in the Looney Tunes imagery. It is the Wile E. Coyote hanging there for a second before the little smoke silhouette as you drop.
This is also going to be the way that people find out that he's back for a time.
Oh yeah, and you roll down the mountain, you just hear
Did somebody drop 10,000 buckets off the top of a mountain?
and then Bellum clatters into the center of the grove. Oh no, it's just Bellum. What? Wait a minute.
Bellum? Why are you glowing? Why did you fall off the mountain? How did you get there without...
Your mom runs over and shoos everyone away. Leave him alone. He clearly needs some food and probably a nap. And just kind of picks you up by the back of your armor and carries you into your house.
Am I still glowing?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I'm glowing now. I feel like she knows, like, she's like the only person who knows how to trigger the safety release on his armor. She just...
Oh yeah.
The magic says nobody can forcefully remove it, but I'm giving her a fiat that goes over and click, boom, action off.
She knows that it's no one can forcibly remove it. But she knows what button you press to turn it off.
And does he dare try and resist her? No.
Exactly. The armor is like, yes, ma'am. It goes off, and she's just holding you by the scruff of your neck, carries you inside, and just sits you on your bed. And then big hug.
Hey, Ma.
My little star boy. Oh, you're so glowing.
Getting
This is
literal
new.
with that one now. It is. I just ran across a literal ley line.
Oh, even I never did that. You'll have to tell me all about it.
It was weird. Stuck my hand into a crevice and then saw all of nature all at once in a perfect mechanism. Forgot it immediately and flung myself here somehow. That's the long and
amazing.
short of it. Yes. I'm a little bit shocked. Just a little bit shell shocked at the moment. If you understand.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, I'm so glad you're back. Where's everyone else? The rest
They
of the
are.
gits?
Yep, that's us. Cosmic Gits. Just as good as ever. So they're still northwest of here in a tower that Fractals learned to summon. And I left a note for them because I didn't mean to jump all the way here at first. It just kind of happened.
Good thing you thought ahead.
Yeah, that's me. Forward thoughts.
Only 4?
Yep. That's my daily limit, Ma.
Well, then it's gotten bigger since last time. She ruffles your hair.
I do want to figure out what this glow is. If it's just a side effect of it, or if it's like... Because the last time I interacted with the ley line, there was like a... Well, and he'll use Celestial Resistance on the both of them.
Oh.
Mm.
Oh, interesting.
There's like a shimmering... It basically looks like that she gets a series of moles of pure white that just arc into constellations to give her the resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing for a second. I got that, and that was only on the outer edge of the activation. This one I was full center and actively funneling it towards me. So, glow. He
Yes.
points his hand at a wall. I wonder if I'm gonna shoot fire, starlight, or energy. Yeah, like full on like first Spider-Man, like Tobey Maguire. Like
Yeah.
go web go. Like
Are you
he's just
trying to
doing.
expend any energy?
He's trying to see what this glow is, and he's like, I think I've seen people shoot energy out of their hands. Let me try that. Go web go. Like
And you're trying to expend energy with that motion.
if it starts to move that way, yes.
Well, it's all up to you. It's you see the glow like follows you around kind of like a corona as
Oh,
you
like
move.
Does it have like a slight lag, or is it always just like
And it's always
emanating
with
from
you.
it? Okay. Do I have a magic item or something I was trying to do?
Well, there was the cube.
Was the cube enhanced?
You gather that the cube definitely will provide for significantly easier conversation with Celestian, and I might have to look and see if there's another thing I can enhance on it, but that would be me go look and see what I can poke at.
He will take out the ley pollen vial, change, and the ley water.
Oh.
So these are both specimens from environments immediately surrounding a ley line. I was saving them for specific uses in case Fractal got damaged again. He needed ley energy to feed on to restart himself.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
She's just kind of tapping her little fingertips together. She looks very excited.
I would also. She is the gardener, and I know she's absolutely.
She is the head herbalist of the grove.
He taps out half the because he gotta help. He gives her. You
gotta go to Mount Pollen. It's for your mom. Yeah. You got a lot of pollen.
He'll give her the actual bulb with whatever pollen remains in it, knowing that she can probably extract more than him. A gift. I got whatever I could out of it, so it's only fair that you can take whatever else is left. Sorry, I only got one clipping before I bamfed here.
You're so sweet.
You don't have to stay and tend to me. You can go harvest it if you'd like.
I'm going to go harvest it right now. Take a nap. She
very imagine she like palms his chest and shoves him down.
Oh yeah. You hear as the door shuts behind her. Chrysophene, you're never going to guess what Bellum brought me. Remember, Chrysophene is her assistant.
My son got me ley pollen.
My son got me ley pollen. And he walked across a ley line to get here to see his mother. What does your son do for you? Does he even show up for Sunday dinner? Chryssophene's like, I don't know what's going on. I don't understand this joke.
Is it toxic? Is she
I'm
mad?
here to grind up herbs and like mix things. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, he would also like to inform the head of the grove that there may be a lich out and about who's trying to track down the Gits.
Do you want to do that after you take a nap?
His mother told him to take a nap, so
His mother told him to take a nap. If you want to get to Vencarel, you're gonna have to sneak out the window.
Yeah, he's gonna take his nap. And just kind of, he doesn't know what to do with this energy. He's just kind of at an impasse.
Yeah.
Bellum's always been the like save it for later kind of guy. And he realizes,
maybe now
oh
you
shit,
have time
I still have their.
Later.
He just remembered, oh shit, I have all their survival gear. I have the chest of preserving and the alcohol.
And that's where we're gonna cut it off. Just as that realization hits.
Like he shoots up right in his bed and goes, oh shit, they're gonna starve!
You hear your mom from the other room, you're not gonna starve, I'm making sandwiches! Like not fully hearing what you said?
Yeah. He's just going, fuck.
And that's where we will pick up tonight. more or less. But we will pick up with the Gits with probably some retconning, because I think I said that you were there, but in the morning, but probably with some minor retconning of them realizing we can't find Bellum and finding out that the regent's daughter has been murdered. So there we go.
LMAO.
Bellum's gone and the regent's daughter has been murdered. What was that weird?
I can't wait till
what was that weird surge of energy in the middle of the night?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Fractal going, oh god, I'm so tired of these druids. I'm going to the ley line, and why is the ley line empty? Why is the battery at 0? What is this
note?
paper?
What is this paper?
Dear Fractal, this is Bellum. I have drained the ley line preemptively. Sorry if you're that fucking furbolg.
Yeah, please write the actual note out so that I can have it for him and just
I will
send
absolutely
it to me.
do it.
All right. There we go.